In a nightmare scenario for the retail industry, Kroger has been hit by a flood of store closures, leaving many wondering if the grocery giant will be the next victim of the bankruptcy wave sweeping through the sector. A large wave of shop closings is being imposed upon one of the most well-known grocery chains in the United States, as a nightmare scenario for retail bankruptcy begins to take shape. A spokeswoman for Kroger earlier this month acknowledged that the company is closing several sites, and by early 2024, over 400 of those locations may be permanently closed. Many villages may lose their major grocery stores, and thousands of jobs may be lost. Also, Kroger won't be the only one, which is the worst part. The announcement surprised many people because Kroger has been a mainstay in the grocery industry for decades. According to Teresa Dickerson, a representative for Kroger, as part of a recent real estate portfolio review, we anticipate closing 11 locations in April. But the insider claims that these first closings will be insignificant compared to what will happen in the upcoming months. Traditional brick-and-mortar stores suffer because of the interaction between declining demand and the expansion of online grocery shopping and delivery services. The impending closures comprise the faltering company's bigger restructuring plan. Kroger is merging with Albertsons to preserve its company and get a larger market share in the U.S. However, the merger won't happen unless significant cost-cutting measures are taken. The supermarkets will be compelled to liquidate hundreds of stores. According to the company, between 250 and 300 Kroger and Albertsons locations will be sold by November 2023. Moreover, 400 additional stores will close for businesses to meet regulatory requirements. The aggregate financial impact of losing these stores will cost the companies about $5 billion. And given that the supermarket chains are being sued by officials and customers in California, Texas, and Florida who filed a lawsuit against the agreement, arguing that the merger will lead to higher grocery costs and fewer customer options, the actual number of closings may be even more outstanding. And they are regrettably not alone. There is proof that consumer spending is plummeting more quickly than during the 2008 recession. Savings are also falling, and debt levels are increasing at a fantastic rate. The future of shopping. Almost 2,600 stores have closed in the business over the last 12 months. About 391 retail companies declared bankruptcy in total in 2022, according to data from S&P Global Market Intelligence. Yet things could get a lot worse this year, since businesses announced the lowest holiday sales in over a decade in December last year. A nightmare bankruptcy scenario has been taking shape. Companies should brace themselves for much more trouble in the months ahead due to the economy's progressive freeze, rising interest rates, and the danger of a deep recession. The industry is in for an actual bloodbath, and the recent store closures prove that the damage has only started. Flood of Kroger store closures highlight struggles for retailers. On March 10th, Kroger announced the closure of 3 more West Coast locations. The closures in Los Angeles come shortly after announcements of 7 comparable closures in Seattle and Long Beach. The biggest full-service supermarket chain in the nation has issued a challenge to municipalities that have implemented hazard pay laws. Local governments are working to ensure that frontline retail employees receive appropriate pay standards. As a result of the pandemic that has killed hundreds of people working in the food chain and sickened tens of thousands more, food workers are going above and beyond the standard tasks covered by collective bargaining agreements, sometimes physically risking their lives at the workplace. Kroger has performed admirably throughout the pandemic, similar to other major stores. In a sector where 1 or 2% is vital, they have achieved a record profits of $2.5 billion on sales, of $132 billion in comparative store sales of 8%. Now, despite this benefit, the closures are forcing hundreds of people out of their jobs and pushing locals to find alternative grocery stores. Moreover, Kroger has been outspoken in their opposition to the regulations, defending the closure of underperforming locations where they could not afford the additional costs and motivating the California Grocers Association to pursue further legal action. Grocers must, like any business, strike a balance between their expenses, cost of products, and retail pricing to meet a specific gross margin target, typically in the 35 to 40% range. For these purposes, gross margin, often known as gross profit, is computed as retail price minus cost divided by retail price. The gross margin ensures that the supplier invoices are paid in full, keep the lights on, and keep the paychecks flowing. It is a weighted average of the individual unit gross margins from thousands of products multiplied by the number of times each product was sold over a specific period. Payroll typically accounts for a sizable portion of a retailer's cost. For mid-size formats, it typically accounts for 12 to 15% of overall sales, while many mass market and discount stores have lower payroll costs than specialty natural shops. Temporary hazard pay spikes will render stores unprofitable because most retailers barely make it with a 1 or 2% net profit in normal circumstances. These temporary pay bumps will result in 2 to 4 points higher labor costs throughout the store. There are examples of how merchants can adjust expenses, prices, and margins in order to reach a strategic purpose, even if it might seem rational to have panic attacks about satisfying these pay regulations. Kroger stores shut down in record numbers amid retail industry turmoil. The Long Beach Ordinance, approved by the City Council in December and put into effect on January 19th, mandates that grocery stores establish premium pay for wage-earning store staff. That is an additional $4 per hour for a minimum of 120 days. The regulation, which applies to businesses in Long Beach with at least 15 grocery workers per shop and at least 300 grocery workers altogether, does not use to store managers or supervisors. The City of Long Beach refers to its Safer at Home order as well as the stay-at-home and state of emergency orders given by California Governor Gavin Newsom in response to the coronavirus outbreak to safeguard public health and safety in the law's language. The risk of working during a pandemic is compensated for by requiring food businesses to pay their employees more. Because of the nature of their profession, which necessitates direct contact with the public, including people who are not exhibiting signs of COVID-19 but can spread the disease, grocery workers are at an increased risk of contracting or spreading the disease of COVID-19 according to the law. The availability of premium pay secures the retention of these crucial professionals on the front lines of this epidemic, delivering important services, and are required for the duration of the COVID-19 emergency. They deserve to be paid fairly and equally for their labor. The Ralph's Food for Less spokeswoman added, "We are proud of our devoted associates who are on the front lines, servicing our clients when they need us most." The California Grocers Association, which filed a lawsuit against the City of Long Beach on January 20th in federal court in LA, also opposes the hazard pay statute. The lawsuit claims that ordinance is defective and unconstitutional. CGA is seeking a preliminary injunction to prevent the law's application until a judge rules on the case. On February 19th, there was a hearing where grocery shop employees are frontline heroes, so supermarkets have already made a significant effort to implement policies that will keep employees and consumers safer in stores. But this rule is undoubtedly unlawful because it obstructs the collective bargaining process, singles out only a few grocery stores, and ignores other retail employees and those employed in other sectors that provide vital services during the pandemic, according to CGA President Ron Fong. Even though the firefighters, police officers, medical professionals, and employees in the transportation, sanitation, and restaurant industries are necessary, only grocery stores are targeted for extra pay regulations. We anticipate having our day in court to challenge the validity of this ordinance. He claimed that city authorities stepped up to take care of these crucial grocery workers and ensure they receive hazard pay for the danger they confront. Kroger is closing these stores is outrageous and conduct a ruthless attempt to create a chilling effect that will discourage other cities from doing the right thing and enacting hazard pay mandates that recognize the threat these workers face from COVID-19, said a representative of the American Retail Council. Now, if you want to learn more about Amazon's future, watch our next video, and thank you for watching.